Sometimes you put walls up not to keep people out, but to see who cares enough to break them down. My friend, care for your psyche, know thyself, for once we know ourselves, we may learn how to care for ourselves. The hottest love has the coldest end. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. The children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority, they show disrespect for elders and love chatter in place of exercise. A system of morality which is based on relative emotional values is a mere illusion, a thoroughly vulgar conception which has nothing sound in it and nothing true. Get not your friends by bare compliments, but by giving them sensible tokens of your love. Worthless people love only to eat and drink, people of worth eat and drink only to live. Death may be the greatest of all human blessings. It is not difficult to avoid death, gentlemen of the jury, it is much more difficult to avoid wickedness, for it runs faster than death. To fear death, gentlemen, is no other than to think oneself wise when one is not, to think one knows what one does not know. No one knows whether death may not be the greatest of all blessings for a man, yet men fear it as if they knew it was the greatest of evils. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our separate ways, I to die, and you to live. Which of these two is better only God knows. Be of good cheer about death, and know this of a truth, that no evil can happen to a good man, either in life or after death. Ordinary people seem not to realize that those who really apply themselves in the right way to philosophy are directly and of their own accord preparing themselves for dying and death. The wise man seeks death all his life, and for this reason death is not terrifying to him. The soul is pure when it leaves the body and drags nothing bodily with it, by virtue of having no willing association with the body in life but avoiding it. Practicing philosophy in the right way is a training to die easily. Be of good hope in the face of death. Believe in this one truth for certain, that no evil can befall a good man either in life or death, and that his fate is not a matter of indifference to the gods. I know that I am intelligent, because I know that I know nothing. In childhood be modest, in youth temperate, in adulthood just, and in old age prudent. I do nothing but go about persuading you all, old and young alike, not to take thought for your persons or your properties, but and chiefly to care about the greatest improvement of the soul. If the whole world depends on today's youth, I can't see the world lasting another 100 years. The greatest blessing granted to mankind come by way of madness, which is a divine gift. He is richest who is content with the least, for content is the wealth of nature. Be the kind of person that you want people to think you are. By all means marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. Children nowadays are tyrants. They contradict their parents, gobble their food, and tyrannize their teachers. Be of good cheer about death, and know this of a truth, that no evil can happen to a good man, either in life or after death. He who is not contented with what he has, would not be contented with what he would like to have. The unexamined life is not worth living. Think not those faithful who praise all thy words and actions, but those who kindly reprove thy faults. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Not life, but good life, is to be chiefly valued. Only the extremely ignorant or the extremely intelligent can resist change. The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. True wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. The easiest and noblest way is not to be crushing others, but to be improving yourselves. Wisdom begins in wonder. When you want wisdom and insight as badly as you want to breathe, it is then you shall have it. Remember that there is nothing stable in human affairs, therefore avoid undue elation in prosperity, or undue depression in adversity. Remember what is unbecoming to do is also unbecoming to speak of. I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think. Be as you wish to seem. Be nicer than necessary to everyone you meet. Everyone is fighting some kind of battle. I call myself a peaceful warrior because the battles we fight are on the inside. The value of a man is measured in the number of those who stand beside him, not those who follow. Nothing is so well learned as that which is discovered. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings so that you shall come easily by what others have labored hard for. The envious person grows lean with the fatness of their neighbor. Contentment is natural wealth, luxury is artificial poverty. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. Every action has its pleasure and its price. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. I know you won't believe me, but the highest form of human excellence is to question oneself and others. Wealth does not bring about excellence, but excellence makes wealth and everything else good for men, both individually and collectively. Nobody is qualified to become a statesman who is entirely ignorant of the problem of wheat.